So, as you read on the title, I failed pre-algebra, college pre-algebra, about 7 or 8 years ago. Growing up, I always had an interest for science and engineering. I remember in middle school, I would check out advanced science books and try my best to interpret them. I remember pulling PDF files from, online sources and try to understand how things really worked. There was a problem, though. I was horrific at math. And to tell you the truth, I'm kind of horrific now. But I'm pretty sure that's just residual feelings. I'm pretty sure somewhere along the lines in elementary school, I was probably daydreaming or distracted by something where I missed a lesson on how to subtract or how to properly add. And that just compounded into my adult life where I can't even pass a pre-algebra class to save my life. I did pass algebra in high school, but about 3 or 4 years went by when I finally tried to pursue a college degree and I failed it. It was very embarrassing. The reason it was particularly embarrassing was because one of my senior leadership was enrolled in the same exact class I was enrolled in. As most of you probably already know, I've been enlisted in the Marine Corps for the last 9 years. And one of my goals in the Marine Corps, especially early in the Marine Corps, was to commission. Now, in order to commission, you need a degree. It doesn't matter in what degree or it doesn't matter what field that degree is in. It could be in anything, as long as you get a 4-year degree. Now, as I mentioned, I had a passion for science and technology and all STEM related things, so I knew I wanted something in STEM. But at that time, my concern was not getting a STEM degree. My concern was simply getting a degree so that I could commission. However, with that said, the commissioning programs also involve math. There are prerequisites that you have to meet in order to even be accepted for the commissioning programs like MECEP and ECP. So even before I was thinking about getting a degree, I was thinking about, even making it into the program. You need to have 3 or 6 college credits in math and in science in order for you to even be accepted into the program. I had neither. So, long story short, that senior leader did pass the class. I ended up dropping out and failing. And like I said, he worked directly above me, so it was pretty embarrassing, to tell you the truth. Now, this failure doesn't mark the end of my college journey. I do continue to take college classes, English classes, electives, general stuff. I continue to do that all the way up to about, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago. And the prerequisite finally catches up, right? Pre-algebra. Well, my time was up and I had to bite the bullet. It was time to take the math classes. My very first math class was pre-algebra, and it wasn't as tough as what it was when I was taking it the first time around in college. This was also during COVID, so I had plenty of time to actually sit down and focus and actually try to learn the material. But that's where everything kind of clicked for me. The problem was that I truly never understood the terminology in my early math years. I understood how to do basic operations like add, subtract, multiply, divide, right? That's pretty easy. I don't think I'd be even able to get into the Marine Corps without that. I'm talking about things like factoring. I didn't even know how to factor. That's how, behind I was in my math skills. But I ended up passing the class, and next along came algebra, college algebra. And again, it wasn't that tough. It was actually pretty easy. Now, I don't know if this is because I've gotten older and I have a little bit more discipline in completing my work. That's probably what it is. But I'm fairly thrown back by it. Like, I was convinced that I was just horrible at math and that I would never be any good at it. But here I was passing college algebra, finally meeting that prerequisite to commission. So I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe I can pursue a degree in STEM. So I changed my major, and I picked aerospace engineering. Now, up until this point, I've been enrolled in American Military University. Now, if you've read the reviews online, many people call this a I think they call it a degree mill, right? Where they pretty much just get everybody through. They're just trying to get that sweet military TA, and they just give you a degree and you pay for it, and that's it. But like any other institution, if you put in the work and try to actually learn the material, you're gonna get something out of it. And at this point, I knew I had to learn it one way or another. So it is online, and honestly, all the classes I've done up until this point have been online, so most of it is self-taught. You're not really getting instructed or one-on-one instruction from a professor. You're going through modules, you're reading, and then you're going to take a proctored exam somewhere at the end or in the middle, depending. Anyways, I transfer over to Embry-Riddle. Now, Embry-Riddle doesn't have an aerospace engineering online program. So I do aeronautics, a bachelor's of science in aeronautics. And I talked to my counselor about my goals of eventually pursuing an engineering degree with Embry-Riddle in person. And they're like, that's fine. Just continue with aeronautics for now and take the courses that are required in order to complete the engineering degree in person. Now, Embry-Riddle does have an engineering program online, but it's not specific to anything in particular. They call it a multidisciplinary engineering degree. So I tried to get into that, but they say I have to do all the prerequisites in order to get accepted into that. So I stick to the aeronautics degree. And that brings me to trigonometry, which has been my longest math class I had ever taken. It was 16 weeks long. Now, as most of you probably know, online classes don't typically take 16 weeks. They typically take 8 weeks, but this one was 16 weeks long. It felt like forever. But I'm kind of glad it took that long because I was able to learn a lot of different stuff that I think, looking back, was sort of common sense, but at the time I didn't know how to think in that fashion. So, with the class being that long and all the different applications that you learn, I definitely got a deeper understanding of math at that basic level, at trigonometry. And I ended up passing the class. Here I was, passing trigonometry, a pretty advanced math class for me up until that point. I passed it with an A, and I was happy. I felt emboldened. I thought I was horrific at math. And again, I still do think I'm pretty horrific, but that's neither here nor there. Up next is Calculus 1. And this is where I begin to wet the bed a little bit. Most of us are told growing up that calculus is the hardest math known to man. I know, I could already hear the math majors in the back. We get it. We know it's not hard, but we were told it was, right? So I'm going on Reddit trying to see what people's experiences are like, what they recommend, what have you. And I'm reading horror stories about how Calc 1 was the hardest and how a lot of people had to take it 10 times in order to pass. Or worse, they just flat out dropped out of that degree and decided to do something else. Now, I didn't want to drop out of the degree I was pursuing. For one, I couldn't drop out because I wasn't even enrolled in it, but I wasn't going to stop pursuing that degree or trying to meet the prerequisites for that degree. So I enrolled in Calculus 1, and right off the bat, I was wetting the bed. That same exact doubt I had as a kid, that same exact doubt I had as a junior Marine trying to pursue pre-algebra to meet a basic requirement, that same doubt started creeping back up. And when the class would get hard, it would fog my focus. I would get off work and try to understand basic topics like limits, with no avail. Week after week after week, I just would not understand the material. I would try my best to engage in the discussions, but I wouldn't truly understand how to explain the topics we're learning. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I failed Calc 1, and it hit hard. For one, the class really felt challenging, but I also understood that if I ever wanted to achieve an engineering degree, this had to be done, and it sucked. I began to wonder if I was even cut out for it. I was also embarrassed because I have a very close friend of mine who is doing mechanical engineering, and he was acing his math classes. He would talk to me about Calc 1, Calc 2, Calc 3, and here I was failing Calc 1. wondering if I would even make it, wondering if I'll even pass it if I tried it again. So after about a year, I stopped feeling sorry for myself and I decided to finally try and do the class again. This time, it is still a struggle, but I seem to be understanding the topics a little bit better. It wasn't until towards the end where I'm beginning to struggle again, but I finally passed the class. I passed Calc 1. I feel like I'm on cloud 9. Like, here I am passing a calculus class. Like, I can't believe it. All my life I thought I sucked at math, and I guess I probably don't suck so bad. But as some of you probably know, Calc 1 is not the biggest fish to be frying. That honor goes to the infamous Calc 2, which again, I go on Reddit and decide to read all the horror stories about Calc 2. They're identical to Calc 1 stories. Actually, no, they're worse. Some people are saying that, they spent hours a day trying to understand the material just to fail. Most are calling this class a filter class, where universities use it to filter out students out of engineering programs so that they could pursue something else. So I'm definitely shaking in my boots for this class, but I take it right off the bat. I say, let's just get it out the way. Now, early on in this class, I vowed to cross every T and dot every I. I am doing practice problems. I am reading all sorts of material. I am spending hours a day trying to understand the material. I am in on this class. I am deeply invested in passing this class. And to be quite honest with you, this class was definitely not easier than Calc 1. It was significantly harder, but the amount of effort I was putting towards this class made it feel easier than Calc 1. And so finally, it's the final week, and I passed the class. And I'm happy. One more class to go. Well, that's not true. One more calc class to go. And I'm scot-free. I will never have to do these classes again. I take a few months off from any math because I'm mathed out up to this point. And then finally, I enroll in Calc 3. And like clockwork, you already know, I go on Reddit. But this time, I'm not reading horror stories about how god-awful Calc 3 is. I'm actually reading that Calc 3 is a lot easier than Calc 2. There are a few comments that are saying, oh, well, Calc 3 is Calc 2, but in 3 dimensions. Or other comments like how integration is now done in 3 dimensions, but it's not as intensive as the integrations in Calc 2. And in my personal experience, I actually found that to be the case. Calc 3 was not as intensive as far as integrations go compared to Calc 2. It was a lot easier. But I think the applications were a little bit harder. And so that finally brings me to the point of this video. I would like to announce that last semester, about a month ago, I passed Calculus 3. I do still have a couple math classes to go, but I do have a lot of relief knowing that I am completely done with Calculus 1, 2, and 3. To me personally, this was a huge milestone, and I reflect back at the challenges I had. It took me a long time. I wasn't doing this as most college students do, where they take 2, 3, 4 math classes a year. I was pretty much doing 1 math class a year. So I would say my journey was a little bit easier compared to those students that are pursuing engineering degrees full time, right? But yeah, a couple more math classes to go and that's it. And to tell you the truth, I'm not worried. Do I think I still suck at math? Kinda, sorta. I kinda see math as a sport now, where it's critical to develop strong skills to help you along with the game, but other skills will also help you along. And it's never too late to learn the skills that you probably missed early in the years. It's just a matter of practice and patience, really. But the main point of this video is to hopefully inspire some of you who are trying to pursue a STEM-related field in college, or are probably interested in commissioning in any of the services. Math can be a daunting subject for a lot of people, and sometimes some people just need a little bit extra encouragement. So hopefully this video can encourage you. Here I was, I thought I'd never make it. I thought I'd never be any good at any STEM field. I thought I'd never pass any math class. And honestly, to tell you the truth, if I can do it, you can do it. I'm definitely nothing special when it comes to it. I wasn't gifted in that department. I personally met individuals who are gifted in math, and they're just pulling out these skills, like I mentioned earlier, these skills out of nowhere, and it's like, I didn't even know you could do that. But if you're somebody like me who really has a passion for science and engineering and would absolutely love to make that their purpose in life, don't let math discourage you from pursuing that route. Now, don't get me wrong, math is definitely important in engineering, and it's definitely a prerequisite in order to get a degree in engineering. But it doesn't define the subject as a whole, I don't think. I honestly feel like passing math classes in engineering is really a way for you to demonstrate your tenacity to problem solve and get the job done one way or another. And a byproduct of that is developing a set of skills that are going to help you out in the field anyways. But hopefully this video resonated well with some of you. I know before I actually even engaged in Calc 1, 2, and 3, I actually watched a few videos of other people who were talking about how they failed certain classes. They published these videos a few years ago, and I'm going through their channels, and now they're fully in the fields. They're fully graduated. You know, they're following their dreams. They got it done. But they seemed so nervous in the first videos that I watched, where they would talk about their failures. So hopefully this video resonates well with you. Hopefully it gives you some motivation to know that if if I could do it, you can do it, right? Like I said, I tried earlier in my Marine Corps career and I failed miserably. I developed a little bit more discipline and I got it done now. So I'll let you guys know how it goes moving forward. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Hey guys, so I did forget to mention one more thing, and that was that after Calc 3, I did in fact enroll in Arizona State University for their degree in electrical engineering, their bachelor's in electrical engineering. And I got accepted. So there's that. I just realized post-production, I forgot to actually make that announcement that I am in fact officially an engineering student. So yeah. Anyways, thank you for watching.